Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing. When you hit pads, you tend to do it very stationary. So what I'm gonna teach you in this lesson is how to punch and move at the same time. You might be able to throw a punch and you're just missing your opponent. There's little tricks you can do to close that distance and find your targets a lot easier. Being able to close your distance while punching is a very important factor in fighting. In reality, when you're fighting, people are moving. No one's just a standing target. So when we drill and we do pads, everything tends to be in a stationary position. This is where we have to learn, especially with our shadow boxing. It's a good opportunity to practice your stepping when you punch. So traditionally when we do it, we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna do jab, cross, hook, cross. So that's the 4 punch that most people throw. So we learned very stationary, 1, 2, 3, 4. In a fight, not many people are gonna stand there. They're gonna defend by moving backwards. So if I do this combination, I'm gonna miss the punch. And that's what leads to people overthrowing and getting caught with counter punches. And we lose the structure in our kickboxing stance. So good defense, good pressure, good power needs to come from a solid structure, good base in the footwork. So the first factor is, if he moves slightly after the 1-2, I have to be able to bring my back foot up on that too. So if I just throw a 1-2 with my back foot in a stationary position, I might just miss that right hand, okay? So in order to close that inch or 2 distance, boom, I can bring my back foot up, more of a traditional style, to close that distance. Now, what's important about that, because I know he's moving back, I can step again off of that. If I keep my back foot planted here, I can't step for my hook cross. I have to bring my back foot in and then hook cross, which is good, but it's a little slow. So this point I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm closing my distance while I'm striking and I'm not reaching, I'm not exposing my chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Stepping, jab, lead foot goes, rear hand goes. Step with the hook, step with the back foot. That's the way to easily close the distance with the punch. Okay, that's the 4 rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I might want to throw a 1-2, boom, boom, quick pause, and then push off that back foot again, 3, 4. All right, so I can use a 1-2, bring my back foot up, now push off here, 3, 4. So that little pause lets me step, but the key is bringing that back foot up. So the other problem now is, if he's moving, even with my 1-2, it's important I close my distance and not reach, like I keep saying. So what I want to do instead, if he's moving backwards, instead of punching while he's moving, I got to close my footwork in. So I'll move my foot here, and then when I feel him against the ropes, now I'm in range to punch. So close distance with your footwork. Don't expose and change your technique too much to reach for the target, okay? So again, I'll close my distance. Now I'm in target, okay? So the last one, if he moves way too much, okay, this is where the advanced people on the channel can use their shift. So if I throw this right hand, boom, I can step off, and now I'm in range to throw my hand, okay? So I can go, 1, boom, I can step off, and then throw my punches from that position. So that's where the shift can come into play. Or I can do a walk step. If you're not confident throwing from your southpaw, I can come back here and then throw back from my orthodox position. So whatever you're comfortable with at that point. Okay, so I can come in, moves off, boom, boom, boom. Okay, I'm closing distance with my footwork. One of the ways I like to work this is with shadow boxing. It's the very simple, basic way to practice the footwork. So what you want to do is you want to imagine you're fighting an opponent that's moving around. So you're always following. Okay? So now Matt and I are just going to do a little bit of shadow boxing using our stepping footwork. And with the footwork, I want you to add being able to pivot, change directions, and step with all your punches. Okay, 1, 2, I can step 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mix up the different footworks we just talked about. All right, let's go. Punching and stepping at the same time seems like a really easy concept, but in reality, a lot of coaches and a lot of people don't know how to do it properly. So practice in your shadow boxing. Every time you punch, you need to step. Close that distance down. If you miss your opponent by 2 inches, that little subtle bringing the back foot up could be enough to land the knockout. Or using the 1-2, take that little pause, take that step again. Now you're landing the hook cross, which could be your finishing 2 punches, okay? Don't just throw all 4 in one. Step, move, close distance. If they're moving really far backwards, use those 2 tips I gave. Close the distance with your footwork first. Keep the nice tight guard, step in. Once you're in range, then throw. Don't sit there, don't reach, don't overthrow your technique. That's when you're gonna get caught, counter punched, and then you're getting knocked out at that point. The second thing, as you get more advanced, work on that shift. For that split second, switch your stance and be able to close that distance really well. Now when you're on the inside, when they're against the ropes or the cage, now you get to let your techniques unfold and get the finish that you want. Okay? Make sure you keep subscribing, and we're gonna see you next week.